I don't know, where to begin. We are North Americans, and for those of you who still think we're from England, we're not. No. We've been on planes and on trains till we think we might die. Far from North America, where the buildings are old, and you might have lots of mimes. I hate the feeling when you're looking at me that way, 'cause we're North Americans, but if we act all shy, it'll make it okay, it makes it go away. I don't know, where to begin, when we're North American, but in the end, make the same mistakes all over again. Come on, North America! We are North American strong. We're from North America. We are North American strong. We are North American. New York's the greatest if you get someone to pay the rent. Wahoo! North America! It's the furthest you can live from the government. Some South American Christians might disagree here in North America, but New York's the only place for keeping them off the street. Boom, boom. Now, we can't have parties like in Spain where they go all night. Shut down in North America. Or like Berlin where they go another night. All right. You see, I love this place that I've grown to know. All right, North America. And yeah, I know you wouldn't touch us with a 10-foot pole. 'Cause we're North America. We are North American strong. We are North America. We are North American strong. We are North America. Take me back to Saints Row. North American strong. But we could be an only one who might have been close. North America. Where the DJ guitars play. Here in North America strong. But don't play like Canadians. Look out, North America. It's time to get away. It's time to get away from you. It's time to get away. It's time to get away from you. You brought a lot of money, but me, a kitchen tidy tummy. And you make me sleep. I try and try, but you undermine me. And I start to be sensible. You know what I mean? And so it's time to get away. It's time to get away from you. I'm dying to get away. I'm dying to get away. And next time we'll talk it over, and we can start again. For you, I caught a lot of static.
Shout outs to you as we build a better country together, and a moral and good people leave the country better than they found it. So that's what we're going to do here. That's the great gift. I do live in Florida, and it's a wonderful thing to be able to live in a prosperous place that is safe. And here we are with my family this past weekend. Grumpy 4-year-old who swam way too much at the pool. She is a very good swimmer. All right. That's the point, isn't it? All right. So let's lock and load here. The purpose of my life and the purpose of everything that we're building here is you. The continuation of our value system. I have a feeling that if you're watching this program, you and I share values. And that's the point of parenthood. That's the point of all society. Imagine a society where nobody passed on their value system. That society collapses in a single generation. In fact, that's what every massive collapse of all civilizations do. The only way that you continue your tongue, your people, your histories, your traditions, Christmas, the only way you keep any of that going, and the Super Bowl, right? President Trump's military parade that will be happening in a couple of weeks. It's going to be very exciting. We're going to be there. The only way you keep that continuing is to have children and impart your values in them as you raise them, right? And so as we join together in this, it's a good thing to acknowledge, one, the parents out there. Massive shout out to you, parents, grandparents, young people who want to be parents. There's a lot of those at this company, actually. And then two, to take a really quick primrose trip down memory lane and see what bad parenting looks like. So good parenting, passing on your values, establishing a nation, leaving the nation better than you found it. Bad
just to let you know, Frogger, what's up? And I got some stuff recorded this morning from Duckbot that I'll be going through later.
Parenting. Letting your cokehead kid wander around on the White House balcony. Here's Hunter Biden, ladies and gentlemen. Just wobbling around on the White House balcony, sniffing and snorting and tapping his face for no reason other than, well, we assume that Hunter's back on the old nose powder, nose candy. Here we go. This is Hunter Biden, ladies and gentlemen. This was last 4th of July. This is what our country was enduring last 4th of July. Hunter Biden packing his nose, acting like a complete lunatic. Look at the other one. This other one's crazy. Like he comes walking out like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? The other one, Klein, please. Other clip, please. Hey, hi, what's happening? Oh boy. And we wondered at the time, would we ever learn what was happening inside the White House? I mean, according to all available sources at this point right now, Hunter Biden was acting like the chief of staff. ALX, grab that clip of Tapper. Grab that clip of Jake Tapper effectively saying that. Boy, we went off on Jake Tapper this past weekend on a Piers Morgan hit. But yeah, Jake Tapper's like, listen, everybody at the White House just knew Hunter Biden was effectively running the place. Is that why they were able to find cocaine in 3 different locations inside of the White House? Oh, there's just one baggie and we found it in a cubbyhole. That's not true. They found little stashes of cocaine all over the White House. What the hell was going on there? Can anybody explain whose cocaine it was? We were just at the White House this past weekend. We chilled out with Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. And we had a great time. But let me tell you what happened when I went into the White House. When I went into the White House, go meet Pete. We and more to come on this. We have some very big announcements. We're very excited about what we're working on. We told you we were cooking. We're very excited about what we were cooking. We had a great Friday and Thursday at the White House. A lot of meetings, a lot of interest in this audience. A lot of people inside of the White House very, very impressed with what we're building here. You, me, this chat, how alive it all is. And ladies and gentlemen, Pete Hegseth is just one of those guys. But before heading into meet with Pete Hegseth, I had to do something quite humiliating. I just call it what it is. It is humiliating. I had to stand there on a rubberized mat in front of a cage. And I had to put my hands up, and I had to let a drug-sniffing dog sniff me. It's not just me. They didn't single me out. This is what happened with everyone at the White House. Everybody who's a visitor to the White House residence building has to go through this process. It's something that, of course, wouldn't allow you to carry bags of cocaine into the White House. These are very mean German shepherds who are snarling and slobbering and sniffing quite aggressively on the other side of the cage. Have you been to the White House? Then you've experienced this. I know that there are members of our staff online right now who can attest this is what you have to do. So how in the hell did a baggie, multiple bags of cocaine get into the White House? It really begs the question, who was it? Well, if you know anything about White House security, you'll know that, that security gets waived for specific protectees. If you are someone who has facial recognition, there's a very specific classification, has a red badge when you're going to the White House, or no badge. But facial recognition, someone who's famous, someone who's the president's family, on facial recognition alone, they will wave you into the White House. You'll be able to skip security. The only way, conceivably, that anyone gets in with a bag of cocaine in the White House is they are so well known and so famous that they get waved in. Who gets waved in? People in motorcades. You get brought in a motorcade, you walk out the door and they wave you in. This isn't really a hard case to crack, to be quite honest with you. This is not difficult. There are only very few people that can get waved into the White House. But that's how it works. Again, I had a drug-sniffing dog snarl and slobber on me as I am walking into the White House. There's no way that some dude in a tourist group brought a bag of cocaine into the White House. It's not possible. Hey, Alex, do we have Cringe Jean Pierre saying that? If not, let's grab that. Cringe Jean Pierre, back in the day, was like, oh, it was just a tourist group. Look at this photo. Here's the cocaine. Oh, it's just a tour group. Tourist groups don't get access to these little cubbies. Tourist groups have to go through the snarling, drug-sniffing dog arrangement. Tourist groups can't. That's a significant amount of cocaine. I've never done cocaine. But, like, you're a very popular guy in the club in Miami. You're walking around with that. Like a dog that's like at the end of its rope, like 15-year-old German Shepherd that can barely stand would be able to sniff that. Okay, at the end of their career. Honorable, noble dogs, mean-looking dog. I'm going to tell you, this is good. If anything, it is an intimidation practice going into the White House to have a dog do that to you. The point is that you ain't getting in unless you're a Biden family member. Now, we're picking on Hunter, but why don't we start at the top? Because, there are these really curious videos that pop up from time to time of there being two Bidens. Anybody who knows someone who's a drug addict or is on any type of mainline narcotic knows that part of the process of this drug affecting your bloodstream is that you can't close your eyes, you can't blink. You're like zoinked out of your mind. You might talk a little different. You might act a little different. You may well become a very different person when you're on a strong enough drug. This is the point for these addicts. They don't like who they are. They're fighting with God against who God made them. It's a real problem in our society, all across the spectrum. But let's stay on track here. Is Joe Biden the one who was using the cocaine? Let's ask the question as though we're playing a game of Clue here. All right? Because the big news this weekend was that the FBI is now going to be investigating the cocaine. And the FBI knows whose cocaine it is because a nose was in the cocaine.
Oh, boy.
They have DNA evidence inside of the coke. So, look, really wouldn't be a hard game of Clue.
The old schnoz and the DNA test. Holy shit.
But here's the best clue that we have. That it might be Joe Biden's. A clip we love to play. We're the only show that ever plays the damn thing. But here's proof of there being two Joe Bidens at the White House. Go.
Be pro-insurrection and pro-cop. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. Donald Trump lacked the courage to act. The brave women and men in blue all across this nation should never forget that.
That's just one clip. Got to show the other one. Yeah. Sorry, Alex. You got to grab the back and forth here. That's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, as we get the actual, I mean, that's one version of Biden. But what's important is that you play the back-to-back with Joe Biden in the same suit, the same place, the same location, on what I believe is like the same day, and he's a very, very different person. Here we go.
As we fight inflation, you can't be pro-insurrection and pro-cop. Bringing down gas prices is a big part of the job. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-democracy. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-American. Here's the good news. Gas prices have dropped every day this summer. That's more than 40 days in a row. Donald Trump lacked the courage.
Look at the eyes. Look at the pupils. You don't even need to hear it. Like, it's a different voice. I mean, what's the explanation here? There are two Joe Bidens. Jake Tapper also says this. There were two Joe Bidens. But, like, you know, I think the better explanation than like a rubber skin suit and there being multiple people playing Joe Biden, which, hey, somebody, you know, I'm happy to entertain that. Show me the evidence. I think the better explanation is that Joe Biden's clearly on something. You feel bad picking on him, I guess, a little bit now because we know that he had terminal cancer at the time. So who knows what the hell the guy was on? Who else could it be? Who else could possibly be the cokehead in the White House? According to Secret Service, well, it was someone in the Biden family, but not who you'd expect. That's what we've heard so far. Ashley Biden? Ashley Biden was on lots of drugs. Ashley Biden is somebody who admittedly was just an addict that completely blitzed out of her mind. Here's Ashley Biden.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the fuck off, and there's a reason why I'm getting the fuck off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. I don't give two fucks.
Okay.
But I am telling.
Mute that. Thank you. What's going on, guys? All right. Here's Ashley Biden, like behaving like a complete zoinked out weirdo. Same night, right after this video, they find the cocaine. I guess that's like the crazy girl who had a meltdown on the airplane. But it's a little profane for the show. Thanks. But here's Ashley Biden. You can see her like lurking around, like touching and grabbing and feeling things. And if you're around people who are on mainline narcotics, you know this is something that they do. This is something that they're constantly doing. Like, look at, she's going crazy. Look at her. She's going nuts. Like rubbing up her father. Like, look at this. Look at that. That's her hand behind Joe. That's not Jill. This is Ashley. You know, again, something to consider. Gentlemen, as soon as that footage of both Hunter and Ashley like behaving like zoinked out of their freaking minds aired, they found the cocaine. The Bidens left right afterwards for Camp David so that Joe Biden could go do his cancer treatment, no doubt, but they were hiding from the American people. As soon as this was done, they find the cocaine stashed away in bathrooms, under carpets, behind sinks. It's not, read the official report. It's not just in the cubby. And then the White House went into panic mode. I'm telling you, you can, like, there's a lot of moments where like you can see the breakdown, the cracks happening, the fissures inside of the Biden regime. But this is the one I think that like really broke them. They've tried to blame Kamala. Now, Kamala has plenty of behaviors, let's just say, that would indicate that she's on something. We all know this. Based on my observations, I would assume the drugs that Kamala is on comes directly from a box of wine, because that's the way that she acts. But Kamala has acted freaking like blitzed out of her mind before. Then he just assumed that she's childless, aunt, wine drunk. The White House decided they were going to blame Kamala and began to leak that this cocaine was found at a place where only the vice president enters. Well, that's unique and not true. And so it obviously fits the bill. It's like, this is par for the course for the Biden White House. But is this the moment where the official Kamala sabotage and breakdown occurred? Remember, at this moment, there hadn't been any debate with Donald Trump. There hadn't been any like Biden dropping out. The real conversation in Washington, D.C. was, is Kamala Harris going to be kicked off the ticket to bring on somebody smarter and more beloved by the American people? And who that person would be, I don't know. But this is what the White House tried to do, throwing Kamala under the bus.
Kelly, the big change is where this was found. And it was found, by my observation, in a much more secure place, limited access place than that West Wing reception area. It's still a frequently trafficked place, but it's down near the Situation Room, right off West Executive, down below. And normal people, average people just can't get in there, even with the entry from the Northwest Gate.
Well, let me bring you up to date with the reporting that I have. What we have learned is that there are, in fact, 2 West Wing entrances. You know that, I know that, but for the benefit of our audience. And now the investigation has progressed, and so they're saying the West Executive entrance, which, as you noted, is closer to the Situation Room and closer to the Navy mess, where there's the facilities for food and so forth. It is also next to West Executive Drive. That's where, for example, the vice president's vehicle is parked.
It just happens. The cocaine happened to be found right where the vice president's vehicle was parked. You see? Kamala, trained, thrown. The official report shows that cocaine baggies were found inside the White House. Here's the best that our production team can do when establishing a clip of like, is Kamala drunk or is she on drugs? Let's have a listen.
We debate it out. Have good, vigorous debates. Have a good fight over policy. That's good for democracy.
That's drunk. Okay, that's drunk. She's blackout. Okay, she's blitzed, but in a different way. She's not on cocaine. But I don't know. Show me the evidence. They have the evidence. This one's so funny.
Here is actually a harvested U-Rosh. We actually do grow it. So this is what it looks like when it comes out our processing bag. Do not touch it. Do not.
Like a 4th grader. You have to like demand that she not touch what I assume to be some stupid wind turbine thing. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? All fake. The point is that it could be many people inside of the Biden White House, and they're protecting the Bidens. What happens next? Well, let's read Bongino's post here, and then we'll analyze it. Thank you for following this account. allowing us to update you about what we're doing at your FBI. A few updates. The director and I have most of our incoming reform teams in place by next week. That's this week. The hiring process can take a bit of time, but we are approaching that finish line. This will help us in doubling down on our reform agenda. Shortly after swearing in, the director and I evaluated a number of cases of potential public corruption, understandably have garnered public interest. We made the decision to either reopen or push additional resources to investigative attention to these cases. These cases are the DC pipe bombing investigation, the cocaine discovery in the prior administration's White House, and the leak of the Supreme Court Dobbs case. All of these are, of course, incredibly important. I receive requested briefings on these cases weekly, and we are making progress. If you have any investigative tips on these matters, you may assist us by contacting the FBI. The director and I have done only one media interview together, and we decided early on to limit our media footprint overall in order to keep that attention on the work being done. There are both positives and negatives to this approach. We have chosen to communicate in writing on this platform to fill some of the inevitable information vacuums. I try and read as much of your feedback as possible, but the workday is busy, and my office is a SCIF, secure facility, with limited phone access, no phone access. In response to feedback, positive and negative, from our interview last week, we will be releasing more information, which will further clarify answers to some of the questions asked in the interview. That means information on January 6th, Jeffrey Epstein. This means information on the Trump assassinations. Those are the topics that added the negative feedback or the hot water to Cash and Dan. Thank you all for your support. God bless America and those who defend her, says Dan Bongino. So what's to be made of this? He lists the three major cover-ups from the last administration that are the priority. Listing them in order: DC pipe bombing, the cocaine discovery, prior administration, and the leak of the Supreme Court Dobbs case. The cocaine we're leading with because it's the clearest example of cut and dry government corruption. Cocaine is a tier 3 substance. It's flatly illegal. It was probably acquired through an open border and cartel smuggling. Most likely this cocaine can be traced back to some of the most evil and criminal organizations on earth, and it was brought into the White House. Prima facie, if you bring a substance like that into the White House, you could also bring anthrax into the White House. You could also bring some type of, something that could explode. You could bring something terrible into the White House. You could really do harm to the President of the United States. There's a massive issue. It's not just like pointing and laughing at Ashley or Hunter Biden. There's a huge cover-up going on here because the Secret Service has found DNA on that cocaine baggie. That cocaine baggie resides in Quantico at an FBI laboratory. Instead of disclosing to the American public whose it was and who should be criminally prosecuted because you're not allowed to have this substance, it's illegal, they did a blatant cover-up. And more importantly, Joe Biden, who they were covering up his terminal cancer, collapsed at the debate, and the news cycle was sort of lost on cocaine. But Dan Bongino is reopening it. It's really important because the way that you watched them squirm at the time, how scared they were that people would start asking questions. Listen to Cringe Jean-Pierre explain away the White House's official line here as to what happened with the cocaine. Go.
I think once and for all, whether or not the cocaine belonged to the Biden family. So,
Okay, I hear you, but you're asking me a question, so I'm answering it for you. And so that's why he said the Hatch Act. So I would, have you read the transcript and read the transcript fully so you can see exactly what he was trying to say. So that's number one. So we're not avoiding the question. That is not true. We've answered this question, litigated this question for the last 2 days exhaustively. There has been some irresponsible reporting about the family. And so I got to call that out here. And I have been very clear
I was clear 2 days ago when talking about this over and over again as I was being asked the question. As you know, and media outlets reported this, the Biden family was not here. They were not here. They were at Camp David. They were not here Friday. They were not here Saturday. They were not here Sunday. They were not even here Monday. They came back on Tuesday. So to ask that question is actually incredibly irresponsible.
It's good to just go back and watch like what we all lived through. It's so important to go back and see like what we were all subjected to. Remember this cretinous DEI hire, the mop, she's lovingly called Cringe Jean-Pierre, a name we haven't said in months, playing the oldies here, had to straight up lie, and she did lie. She lied about where the cocaine was found. We have a provable lie here. First off, here's the lie.
I believe that the Secret Service did a thorough investigation. Certainly not going to opine on the investigation. Of course, we're going to have confidence that they're going to do their jobs and do everything that they can to get to the bottom of this. Of course, that is something that we have confidence. We will always have confidence in that. But as you just stated, we've been briefed on the outcome, and in their public statement, as well as the Secret Service have said, there is hundreds of visitors that traveled through this area where the cocaine was found across that weekend. And so I'm going to leave it to them for any additional information, but certainly not going to opine on the process here. But we believe it was a thorough investigation.
Hundreds of visitors, huh? Well, that's interesting. Let's go ahead to this article, shall we? An article that was buried deep because it did such a great job analyzing what exactly happened here. This is a Daily Mail article. This is from 13 November. First photos reveal cocaine found in White House. Images of baggie in cubbyhole sparked White House investigation, and culprit has still not been found. So you can see the cocaine there in the White House. But what I find particularly interesting here is the White House cocaine search map that shows the multiple locations where the White House was found. This was first reported out, and then the White House did everything they possibly could to cover it up. Initial reports about the cocaine discovery said it was found in the White House library, and then the West Wing lobby, then finally in the cubbies near the West exclusive entrance. 3 different locations. Now, we were just at the White House. You can see here in this map of the White House, you're looking at the most exclusive places in the White House. The West Wing lobby is just a stone's throw from the Oval Office there. The library is private. It's closed off. You're not allowed to go there unless you're on official business. You can't just go wander through the White House library. And that executive entrance, as we have described and discussed, is used for people that get waved into the White House, that are on facial recognition. So the FBI has a lot of answering to do, like exactly how was this cocaine? Was it the same cocaine? Does it have the same DNA in it? Was it like you could test and see, is it the exact same bag of cocaine? Was it the same user? Because then that same user wasn't a tourist, as Cringe Jean-Pierre just lied to you there. It was clearly a member of the administration with full access to the White House that virtually nobody has. You can go you can technically work at the White House and you don't have any access to these locations. I just witnessed it myself. There are people with White House badges who go to work every single day inside the White House that can't go wandering into the West Wing lobby anytime they want. The White House library across from the diplomatic reception room. Or that executive entrance, which of course has a guard at the front of it. The executive entrance, there is a massive desk there with an armed guard, member of the Secret Service, who stands there and like checks your bag, checks your credentials, make sure that, I mean, if you're walking to the White House, this is just another hardened entrance. So has anybody explained why they found, like, how they were able to find cocaine in 3 different locations hidden in the White House? They're lying. They're lying to you. And they were able to find DNA. And then they shut it down. It's incredible. FBI agents have come on our program, and we've done hours. We've done thousands of hours on January 6th, the pipe bomber. Thousands of hours? Yeah, definitely. In total. We brought on the world's experts on this. And the FBI agents that were on our program, he was Garrett O'Boyle. And he said, yeah, I was on the J6 pipe bomber team. And we were like this close. We had someone identified. We knew exactly who they were. And then Merrick Garland, Christopher Wray, and the FBI told us, cut the case. No more investigation. You're done. It's like you're this close. You have DNA evidence. You know exactly who the bomber is. You know exactly whose cocaine it is. And then they come in and they kill it. This was the operation. It should make you enraged. Okay. To take the sting out of it. Here's President Trump. Musing, like, whose cocaine was it? Really? Let's go.
There's never been a time where we've been closer. We're inches away, and we have a man that literally can't speak. He can't get off a stage. The other day, he tried to get off a stage. Now, look, I'm up here now. There are a lot of people. There's a lot of television going crazy. There's so much. I'm up here. But, you know, when I'm finished, I'm going to look over there. I'm going to see an exit. I'm going to look over. I can take that one, that one. And what I can't do is walk through the back wall. And he turned her. Did you see the other day? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. You know what happens after about 20 minutes, the stuff that he's taking wears off. So he gets a little groggy. Gets a little bit groggy. They say, get him off the stage. That shit's wearing off, man. Get him off. No. And I'm sure that the cocaine that they found in the White House, that I'm sure, I feel certain it had nothing to do with Hunter and Joe, by the way. Here, Dad, have a little of this stuff. It's going to liven you up a little bit. Can you imagine they found a stash that you wouldn't believe and nobody laid claim to it?
The official line here, after 11 days of investigation, DNA evidence and Secret Service whistleblowers saying that it was a member of the Biden family's cocaine, is that the Secret Service has closed down their probe without identifying a suspect due to lack of physical evidence and supposed lack of cameras to capture who may have dropped off the baggie. That's total and complete bull. Try my hardest not to swear loudly and angrily. When you are at the White House, you are like well aware that every second of your movements is not only being recorded, but that your face is being scanned. You have to stand there in front of multiple cameras just to get in. You have to get your face scanned. You have full biometrics, real ID, all of it. There were at least, my wife and I went to the White House. Can you grab Alex, can you grab that photo of me and Kate and Davey Whitaker? So we were there on Thursday in a room with Trump and RFK and like half the cabinet. It's freaking awesome. I'm going to show you this happy little photo of us there sort of on the perch of the east wing of the White House, right? This photo, to take this photo, there were 5 different times when my wife and I had to do a full facial scan, biometric scan, 5 different hardened points of security where our names were checked against a list. Then our IDs were run through a system. This is, of course, before we had to give our full biometrics, where we live, date, birthday, social security number to the White House just ahead of time. This is where the drug sniffing dog had to sniff my newborn. Thankfully, he didn't have any, powdered milk. And of course, you have to go through multiple metal detectors, magnometers. You have to like roll through that. To get to this point in the White House was like a mousetrap maze of security. As I'm recalling it, 5 different hardened points of security, most of them including full scan biometrics. And the official story out of the White House is that a visitor was able to use a secure and locked cubby. Then a visitor was able to go within one room of the West Wing, residence of Joe Biden. Then a visitor was able to go just down the hall from the Oval Office that no visitors are ever allowed to go into. And then a visitor was able to hang out in the library and do blow in the library. That's their official line without ever being on camera. Okay, now, that is a massive cover-up. It's going to be, this is why Joe Biden pardoned his entire family. This, among many other reasons, is why Biden pardoned his whole family. That's it. This would be, I mean, the pardons include the cocaine use in the White House. But it's still worth dragging these people out and proverbially crucifying them. It would be so good to like get an understanding of who knew what. And maybe there are prosecutions. James Comer on our program talked about where this evidence was at the time and where it is now. I don't believe half the stuff that is told to us by the feds. And Jamie Comer, head of government oversight, can only tell us what he's been told. Jamie Comer saying it's going to be really hard to do this investigation because the FBI, much like power washing the roof after Matthew Thomas Crooks staged a near on-air execution of the president, the FBI has destroyed all of the evidence. Interesting. Is evidence really ever truly destroyed by the FBI? It's a good question here. Here's Jamie Comer. Okay, so taking a step back and looking at some of the other scandals, what's going to happen with this cocaine in the White House? I know you've been on that beat as well. Apparently, there's DNA. Are we gonna get a chance to actually look at some of the things that have been covered up over the past 4 years? Because it seems like the cover-up operations have been sweeping in the DOJ.
You can forget about the cocaine in the White House because they destroyed the cocaine. It was in a little plastic dime bag or whatever you call it. So, I mean, the potential for fingerprints were really good. Then you had all these cameras in the White House. Well, somehow it never showed up on any of the cameras, just like it was swept off the cameras or deleted or whatever. There's no camera angle that covered where that cocaine was sitting when it was found. And the plastic bag that contained the cocaine, they destroyed within 24 hours of finding it, the FBI. They said they didn't have any technology that could tell any fingerprints, which meant somebody must have walked in the summer wearing gloves in the White House. Did that come up on the video? Nope, nobody with gloves on. No fingerprints, and we just destroyed the evidence. They've got evidence from 100 years ago in safes and filing cabinets in law enforcement agencies affiliated with the FBI. But this one now, we had to destroy it. They destroyed it in 24 hours. That's going to be a successful cover-up.
So who's lying? James Comer or Dan Bongino? Who's lying here? If Dan Bongino is teasing this out, and Dan Bongino, full disclosure, as we've said many times, Dan Bongino is like a mentor to me. He's been really sound as somebody to assist in building what we're creating here. He's somebody who he's an honorable man, is what he is. Why would Dan Bongino tease this if there was nothing there? If it was all over? Why would he tell this to the American people if it was just going to be a massive failure? I don't buy it. But I'll tell you my take on all of this because I know it's going to get me in trouble. And here's like, they destroyed the footage. Well, we've actually seen them do this. It's J6 pipe bomber. You can see that they actually slowed down the J6 pipe bomber security footage. You can see that they tampered with the evidence. They tampered with the actual footage of the pipe bomber. So this is definitely on brand. What's my take as this plays beside? My take is this. I'm willing to believe that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. I'll have to see the evidence. I think it's far more likely that somebody killed him. Maybe Jeffrey Epstein paid someone to kill him. But you don't snap your own neck falling from a bunk bed with tissue paper around your neck from 4 feet. It just doesn't happen. So there's something else there. I'm willing to entertain that there was no greater conspiracy with the Trump assassinations. That's the contention of Cash and Dan. But what's going to happen is that we are going to have to apply pressure and get those files released. And that will be a good thing. Right now, Cash and Dan have access to stuff that we don't, obviously, by design. But that shouldn't be forever. Let it out. We've all seen wartime footage. We've all seen footage from Ukraine front lines, October 7th. There's gory and horrific footage all over the internet constantly. We're adults. We can take it. Release it. Let's see it all. The ugliness, the scars, all of it. I don't believe that we're being lied to, and I don't believe they're setting themselves up. They're not stupid. They're not setting themselves up for failure, to be dragged and humiliated. They're digging in. There's more here. Since we've done so many hours on the pipe bomber, and since we haven't talked about the cocaine in the White House, we decided to lead with that. The Dobbs decision also should be cut and dry. There are not that many people who work at the Supreme Court. There are like a handful of people who work at the Supreme Court. The individuals who leaked that to the reporter, it's very simple. You subpoena those emails, you subpoena those records. It's going to be very obvious to see who leaked that document. And the purpose of that would be what? To get a Supreme Court justice killed. It was deadly serious. That was in summer 22. Is that correct? Yes. They also couldn't figure that one out. Couldn't crack the case. So all of this is very important. Why would Dan Bongino tease all of this if he had nothing? If they had nothing? They wouldn't do it. It's bad politics. So we have a lot of faith in this, and that faith needs to get some rock solid footing underneath it. And the way that you do that, the way that you restore it all, is to release it. And so that's going to be our charge on this program. We're not going to call people liars. We're not going to lose our minds. We're not going to freak out because it's not happening on our timeline. We want it to be done right and correctly, but we're going to demand all of the evidence. And I trust the American public. The American public can see it for themselves. I don't trust FBI analysts. I don't trust CIA analysts. I trust the American people. And I trust the autists of the internet to go through everything, find fakeries, find the truth, give us the evidence. Same thing with the cocaine. So that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. One final thing on this note. Well, one final thing on this. I checked in with the FBI this weekend. Yeah, good sources. You obviously know Kash Patel from being on our program. I found an old photo of Kash Patel in my kitchen, actually, like 2 4th of Julys ago, with his children's book. And he was hand delivering a children's book to my 2-year-old at the time. Wild photo. We'll pop it up on the show tomorrow. But the point is that we are locked in with the people who are really doing these investigations. And they tell us, get ready. Like really, really big things are happening and really big things are coming. And we believe them. They've never lied to us. So that's where we're going to stick. Okay? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I encourage you, while you are awaiting these releases from the FBI, while we are awaiting these Epstein documents, you might be waiting for a while, okay? But we're gonna like hope against hope here. While you're waiting, you should do that in a sauna. You'd be able to wait in a sauna for that long. Most people don't have room for a sauna, and saunas at your house. I mean, some rich people can have them, but not I. I don't have the room, nor do I have the funds to install a sauna. Saunas are awesome for you. They're good for your health. And those health benefits have been proven in study after study after study. Bond charge. Infrared sauna blanket is how I get my sauna benefits without having to install a sauna in my house. It's something that is constantly used as my wife and I are trying to increase our health, trying to stay on top of the energy requirements and the sleep and rest requirements that we have. It is a constant grind. And so we are fighting against, well, human nature itself when it comes to the amount of energy depletion at the end of the day. At the end of my day, I use my infrared sauna blanket. I do it after my kids are asleep. I have a mask. I'm going to post a photo. I'll post a photo tonight on my stories, on our stories, okay? I have a mask. I put it on my face. It does scare the kids if you have little kids because it looks like a Halloween mask, but it's great. It's great. The benefits are spectacular. It leaves you feeling completely euphoric and refreshed after every single session. On charge, ladies and gentlemen, is what you should use. My wife, by the way, swears by it, and she used it while pregnant and really assisted. All products from Bond Charge are HSA and FSA eligible, pre-tax savings of up to 40%, plus free shipping on every sauna blanket and 12-month warranty. Go to bondcharge.com/Benny and use the coupon code Benny to save 15%. That's BONCHARGE.com/Benny and use the coupon code Benny to save 15%. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody who comes on the show and is like a very warm blanket to me is the single most trusted pollster in all of America. His name's Mark Mitchell with Rasmussen Reports, and he has a historic trend line to talk with us about. Breaking right now. Mark Mitchell joins the program. Mark, top of the morning to you. I drink coffee. I don't do cocaine. I don't know what, gets you going in the morning. That's what we've been talking about on the show here. Polls, okay.
Yeah, good numbers. That's what gets me going.
Maybe that's why. They didn't have any good polls in the Biden era. Maybe that's why they had to resort to something stronger. But Mark, you have news for us this morning. The floor is yours.
I said this a couple weeks ago. I said, I never thought we would see it. We've been polling since 2006. Every day, we've been asking presidential job approval, and we've been asking right direction and wrong track. Donald Trump's doing pretty well from a presidential approval perspective, considering the Biden administration. But the right direction number has been the sleeper hit. It's been setting records left and right. Only now in Trump 2.0 was the very first time we ever had more people who say the country was on the right direction than on the right track. And there is this stunner from this morning. And this is not some like single nightly overnight number. This is 5 nights. This is about 2,000 US likely voters. So it is a very big and very accurate poll. And for the first time in our polling history, a majority of the electorate says the country's headed in the right direction. Absolutely stunning. Net +5. Never seen anything like that.
I'm sorry, I have to stop you there. Mark, this is the first time ever in Rasmussen's polling?
Going back to 2006. The highest we had ever seen before Trump 2.0 was, I believe, 47%, tied 47% right direction, wrong track, net +0. But in the Trump administration, we broke net +0. We had net +1. We had net +4 last week, and here it is at net +5, and we've never had a 50 handle, ever. Period. going all the way back through the beginning of the Obama administration, going all the way back through Trump 1. Trump 1 had some high numbers. He set a lot of records back then too, 6 or 7 consecutive weeks above 42. We're at like 17 now. So, I mean, this is just something. Listen, I'm a public opinion aficionado. I'm a pollster. I want voters to get more of what they voted for. And this looks like the report card for that. It looks like they're getting what they voted for.
So the way to interpret these numbers is that you never see numbers this high over the last 20 years, let's say, of presidents, like since the year 2000. We've never seen anything above 50%. We've never seen anything near that.
We personally don't have numbers going all the way back through the beginning of Bush. I'm sure there were probably some periods prior to 9/11 where the number was pretty high. I think everybody was pretty jazzed at the end of Clinton 2.0 because of the surplus and because the economy was doing really well. But really, in the modern political era, you just don't see high numbers at all. Now, a lot of that's a great financial crisis. A lot of that is the concentration of wealth at the top and all of the tyranny that we've seen over the last years. It's been increasingly worse and worse. And I mean, this tracks with every other thing. But the reason it's so important, it's because we ask it a lot. Everybody asks it, and it's impossible to ignore. These numbers, and listen, some of the other people in the industry are certainly sandbagging their numbers, but if you go look at the Real Clear Politics number, the industry aggregate of right direction, wrong track, not presidential approval, they're actually only about 1 point away from the high that they had back at the beginning of the Biden administration, which I didn't see, right? But they're almost going back to the best that they've ever seen since the beginning of Obama as well. So even the industry says that things are going really, really well, but you should probably take it from the only pollster that can actually poll Trump supporters. And yeah, this is unprecedented.
So the way to interpret this is, and I think we have like the full, I think this is the aggregate here on Real Clear polling. It's wild. Even the aggregate here is showing this massive spike for Trump in the right direction. And you're saying that your polling shows them tipping that scale.
Yeah, my black line crosses the red line. And you'll see in the industry that never happened either in all of their data.
This goes all the way back to what looks like 2008 or before. And so Donald Trump has done it. He's flipped the country into saying we're on the right direction. So does this mean just Trump voters are saying we're on the right direction? Or is Trump bringing people across the line to say, hey, maybe I didn't vote for Trump, but I'm actually really like his job that he's doing?
Yeah, I mean, everybody, right? Like I have the breakdowns here. There's always going to be some Republicans who say the country's going in the wrong direction, and it's because they're financially not very well off or because their family's falling, whatever personal reasons they have. But right track for GOP, 75%. That's really high. The really good one is for independents. It's 45%. Independents usually are in the low 20s or 30s for most of Biden's administration. We even have 31% of Democrats say the country's headed on the right track. And it's kind of a weird situation where you look at some of these other pollsters, again, your Ipsoses, your Reuters, all the people we've talked about on your show, and you're seeing with them still like 90% Democrat support among Democrats. But listen, Trump is the guy that got like all of these union people to come out and support him. He got all of these blue voters in the Rust Belt. And so I think my numbers reflect what reality really is. And it's just been wild how high his approval rating is and how high these numbers are. And even 30 to 39-year-olds have been off the chart, super conservative. And black approval has been really high, and it's down a lot lower than it's been. And it's still 34% black approval for Trump, 39% right track. That's crazy for, again, a racial block of voters that have voted 94% Democrat in the past. Men are off the charts, loving what they're seeing. 58% approve to 41% disapprove. 57% of men say country's on the right track. It's only 44% of women. So the gender divide has been growing, but yeah, wild stuff.
So Trump is doing excellent with men. And if you compare this to the Joe Biden numbers, and I know that you've posted this about a week ago, the Joe Biden job approval numbers were just in a state of collapse throughout the entire presidency. Is that correct? reading of this data?
I mean, this is what horrifying presidential approval looks like. And again, what we're looking at isn't Rasmussen numbers here. It's the industry numbers. And look, he was underwater essentially 15 points on average, according to the industry, his entire time. The industry says Trump's underwater maybe a point. And they freaked out like back in the end of April and beginning of May when the entire industry, and again, we talked about it, there was an information op to try and tank Trump's numbers for the 100-day mark, but they got down to 7.5 in the Real Clear Politics presidential approval aggregate. And look at Biden just cruising on through at like -15.
Jeez.
Blew out to -20 a couple times. I mean, just horrifying. And so they weren't running wall-to-wall stories about Biden's approval rating. We all know. I mean, we all know what it is. But it's stunning when you see it like this displayed on a chart. They ran this guy. They ran this guy. They tried to run this guy.
They tried to run this guy with terminal cancer, which is like a human rights violation in my personal opinion. It's like, why, you know, what? Like, first off, how depressing and pathetic is the party that's the best that they have, and then two, you know, somebody should be fully criminally investigated for this. It's the clear-cut case of elder abuse. Here's what Mark posted before President Trump made this historic feat of flipping the approval ratings. Like, here we go. Here's how close that it's gone. Now that was Biden. Right here,
Yeah.
that massive slump was Biden. The wrong direction is red, right direction is black. So this is the Biden years, right here, these slumps. So Donald Trump is now cranking that thing at a much faster and much higher intensity than he did in his first term, because he got very close in his first term. Is that what you're saying here?
Yeah, even in the industry numbers here that include all of the bad ones, the Trump first administration stands out like a sore thumb. You could see it there. It's that narrow area just before COVID hit and things went up and down. Right before that second yellow circle, that second yellow circle is the fake euphoria that probably ABC, Washington Post, and New York Times and others baked into their polls because they finally got the orange man out. I didn't really see a spike like that when Biden came in, but immediately, even in their numbers, look at the utter collapse. He barely made it to his first fall, and people were chanting FJB in the stadiums.
Jeez.
And I think that was there is, I think, where the country really changed. I mean, he did convince a lot of political normies who were watching MSNBC in their masks to come out and vote for the very first time. We know about the 2020 election irregularities and all of the mail-in ballots and all that stuff, but a lot of people did vote for Joe Biden. A lot of people bought into that the adults in the room would come back and cure us all from the chaos of Trump, the artificial chaos, we know. And they were completely let down in a horrifying way. They had Afghanistan, right? They had the Department of Justice weaponized like within the first year. They had the Inflation Reduction Act blowing prices through the roof. So they trusted in government to solve this problem for them, and the government failed. And you can see it right there on the chart. And that's why Trump's in office again. And now the country's like, oh, okay, cool. It's working.
So this is the first time. I mean, where are we going from here? And Donald Trump has already suffered some pretty much everything that they could possibly throw at him, the kitchen sink. I mean, I don't want to I don't want to hope too much here, but it does seem like there's a barrage of bad press, and it just isn't working anymore, Mark. So where's Trump headed? We're going to see 60% like right track?
This is like he did well on his freshman midterms, okay? And we still got a lot more of this administration to go. And the report card is good. But the problem is that the exams get harder, right? And so I think part of the reason we're seeing the numbers this high is that we got to summer without anything blowing up. And people tried to convince people that things were blowing up. They didn't. And what happens in summer usually is the numbers just kind of drift and everybody chills out. And I don't know, they'll probably swing all over the place. I think there'll be some highs. I think they're going to try and hit Trump with everything they got coming out of August. They're probably going to try. They did this in 2022. They did it with the Dobbs decision. And this is what they did in August of 17 also. the Russian collusion stuff was really sort of festering all summer, and then it was just wall-to-wall press coverage, and it really did draw some blood for Trump, got his approval rating down into the high 30s, but he clawed it back out into the high 40s. I don't think they have anything like that, though. That's the problem. They've pretty much used everything they have available, and so I guess they only have, I mean, you know, the deep state is infinite in its creativity, so I guess we will see. But I also think the message is that things are good right now, but they have a chance to turn south. We just polled our first generic ballot of the cycle. It was only 1,000 likely voters. It's super far out, but the Democrats were up one. And that's new. We've had Republicans up in every single time, all the way going back to 22. And so this should be perceived to be a wake-up call to people who understand what voting for Congress means. Listen, Congress performed in the generic ballot pretty similarly to Trump in the fall. And if Trump's up 6 in approval right now and the Democrats are up 1 in the generic ballot, that's a message that Republicans are slipping. And so Donald Trump turns out low propensity voters to vote for him. He turns out Democrats and independents who cross over. And we saw those special elections, and we see what's happening in Congress and the Senate right now. And so, I mean, I can imagine they're trying to figure out, well, how do we do good in 2026? The answer is don't do what you're doing now. Donald Trump is a very non-traditional 2.0, Trump 2.0. This is a very unprecedented presidency. We are not seeing an unprecedented Congress right now.
So Congress could F it up.
Well, I think a lot of things could, right? I mean, you know, World War III, economic black swan, or literally Congress not giving Trump the agenda that he got a mandate for. And voters said that too. I mean, we asked Donald Trump, I'll pull this up. We asked voters, I want to get the words exactly right. Is Congress delivering on the mandate that Trump, the country was given? 60% of Republicans disagree with that. 60% of Republicans. Now, it wasn't strong disagreement, but that's not where you would want your numbers, because every single component of Trump's platform is overwhelmingly popular. So, like, what are they doing? It's all just the same, you know, trading pork over bargaining. Like, that's what they're doing, I think. No Doge cuts. You know, everybody's taking their chance to slow this thing down to get their own special. This should have been everything Trump's doing. Like, they should be, in my opinion, this is it. I think a lot of people thought this was an existential election, right? And then if the Democrats get back in power, but the question I have is the 60-vote filibuster rule on the table? And if the answer is yes, like, why is it not on the table now?
Right. So Republicans never have the will to power. They never have the capacity to unite the way the Democrats do and to push. This is why they're even the far outliers, right? Like Joe Manchin, like are such extreme cases because they're a Democrat who like dares to buck the party like 2% of the time, whereas Republicans, it's like 50% of the time. And you're seeing constant squabbling. So you're saying Republicans, if they want to keep power in the Senate and the House, they need to get on board, get their asses in gear, and start delivering on Trump's agenda, codifying Trump's agenda.
100%. And I think that, again, a lot of these big topics, like you talked about leading into my segment, are what a lot of people are paying attention to. The Epstein stuff, the cocaine cases, like wondering when this information that was promised is coming and when we're going to see action. And we've been polling on that as well. But the problem is that Congress is just this sort of sleeper in the back, and people are going to eventually add up what's going on and draw conclusions, and it will be when it's too late. But we asked people about releasing information about the Epstein case. And this is an important one too. I wanted to bring up because you were talking about it.
Yeah.
And the communication there is awful. Now, I understand that there's realities that happen in the FBI, but with an extra sentence or two of context, right? It could have been delivered a lot different to the American people. It would have changed the discussion on Twitter a lot. But the Trump administration promised to publish previously secret records about the activities of convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and his associates, but have made little progress in doing so. How important is it to get these files out? 36% say very important, and 31% say somewhat important. So that's 2/3. Like, that's pretty good. Even Democrats like it. But then, as a sister question, we said the Trump administration promised to release evidence of widespread coordinated 2020 election fraud, but have made little progress. How important is it to get this evidence into the public domain? 47% very important, 24% somewhat. So that's 71. So overwhelmingly, people want election integrity. So let's not forget this aspect of institutional trust that was destroyed under Biden, the fact that people thought that this election was going to be stolen, and we haven't really heard anything about that stuff, right? And so we have very simple bills that we could pass. We could put paper ballots in, we could pass the save, we could do this stuff, and it's not getting done. And the answer from the Senate's going to be, oh, well, it's a 60 vote. You know, we can't get it through. Okay, well, make them filibuster for the entire summer a bill about election integrity. Let's do that. Let's put that on the table. Why not? Maybe a couple of them will drop dead, and then you'll get more of them. Like, I'm just saying, and it's not something that they're going to consider. And you know that's what the Democrats do. They're very good at the obstruction game. The Republicans, they get in this position. So
just total and complete weakness. So, okay, like, listen, if you were going to ride a horse through 2026, final question here, like, where would you rather be right now? And I want to preface this by saying I was howling at the New York Times report on Democrats trying to win young men. Democrats are wanting to spend billions of dollars to try and win over young men again, a demographic that they have lost spectacularly. What's your take on that, Mark? Is it possible to bring young men back into the Democrat Party based on your numbers, or is this just another massive slush fund of wasted cash, just like Kamala Harris's $3 billion presidential campaign underdate?
Yeah, I think that's grifters trying to just make money off of the horrible situation Democrats are in. And let's not forget, I mean, among men, 57% say right track, 58% say approve of Trump. Good luck. You're not going to win people away from that. Men like what they're seeing. Mike Cernovich put out a really, really good tweet about how the ambush that Trump did to the leader of South Africa reflected a masculine energy shift in this nation. And it's going to, those kinds of things very heavily signal the type of leadership that is expected in the cultural norms. I think that's important. Listen, here's the thing about the Democrats. I would rather be in the Republican shoes, obviously, but the problem is it's like they have a very good opportunity now. They've built trust and they're squandering it. The Democrats, listen, those Democrat voters didn't disappear. Some of them aren't answering polls. Some of them are less political than they were in the COVID era. Some of them are reconsidering themselves. Some of them probably checked into mental health facilities. I don't know. But they're still there and they're still going to vote. And the problem is Republicans do have a low propensity voter problem. It's not very inspiring to vote for an established Republican figure. And that's what often gets run is these squishy moderates in, purple states. So that's a problem for them that they're going to have to figure out how to overcome. Now, on the flip side, 2028 is shaping up to be a clown show for the Democrats. I mean, this is just slow motion train wreck. I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's going to be AOC, and then they're going to have to pull some game to get her out. That's what it looks like, where it's going. Or they're going to run Kamala Harris again.
So you have an AOC Kamala Harris ticket. And then this is the ticket that they're going to win back men with. They're going to say, please vote AOC Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris AOC.
Well, Bernie will stump for him. Don't forget that. You can have an octogenarian on the stump for him.
You're going to be nearly 90 years old. Bernie's 85. I mean, nearly 90 years old. Wild. Okay, yeah, what a complete and total clown show. All right, well, that's history. Mark, you've been predicting it. You're the only man who predicted that Trump would win the popular vote. You were laughed out of the room. You did it on this show many times, and damn it, man, you were right. You've been saying Trump would pass this milestone, and you were right. Mark, we're thankful for the crystal ball that you have to predict the future here, and it's often positive news, and we're thankful for that.
Yeah, the good news is great. Thanks for helping me get the word out. We're going to do a lot more of it.
See everybody there. Look at him up. Look at Mark up past 100, blowing past at 105,000 subs. Everyone go follow Mark Mitchell, the best pollster in America. Godspeed, man.
Thanks, Benny.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be joined in just a moment by America's Mayor, Rudy Giuliani, who's going to have some interesting things to expand upon when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein and his death, murder, suicide. What was it exactly? Well, it sort of all hinges on the strange circumstances of the case. That, of course, the cameras went off in his cell, that he wasn't on the right block of a prison where he was supposed to be, that he was in a cell with a convicted strangler who's also a bodybuilder, very interesting, and that he tried to allegedly kill himself by using the substance about as thin as tissue paper because he was on suicide watch already, and dropping himself from a 4-foot tall bunk so severely that he broke his neck. Doesn't make any sense. Now, the prison itself that Jeffrey Epstein was held in was built by Rudy Giuliani. Nobody knows that prison better. There's a single journalist, before we get to Rudy, who's actually done a little bit of investigative work on how the prison was arranged and how this murder-suicide could have happened. It's remarkable that nobody really schematic this thing out. Nobody really did the investigation except for Tucker. And Tucker went in and actually game theoried what would have to happen for Jeffrey Epstein to be killed in his cell. And there's a, I think, plausible theory here. We wanted to play you this very quick clip with the preface that it is Cash and Dan Bongino saying, no, Jeffrey Epstein definitely killed himself, without adding any further context to it, which sort of reignited this entire conversation. Here's Tucker's reporting.
No one came in or out of the tier, Barr said. Therefore, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. So let's consider that claim rationally. On the night of August 9th, Jeffrey Epstein was being held in the special housing unit of the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Manhattan, the most secure part of the city's federal lockup. It would be physically impossible for a stranger to get in and out of this facility without an electronic pass and without being seen by the countless cameras in place between the street and the locked 9th floor of the building. So if Jeffrey Epstein was murdered, he was not murdered by an intruder, someone who came into the tier. He was murdered by someone on his own cell block, obviously. There were 7 other cells on Epstein's tier, and each one housed dangerous criminals. So if you were looking for a killer, you would figure out who was in those cells. But no one seems to have thought of that or done it. The Bureau of Prisons refused to provide us with a list of the inmates on Epstein's tier. It's not clear how many of them were even interviewed by investigators, despite the fact that some of them were transferred out of the facility shortly after Epstein's death. That's a baffling oversight.
The best reporting we've seen so far, it's years old now, Tucker's old Fox show. And the next words we get on this years later are from Cash and Dan Bongino. And they said very curtly and very bluntly, no, Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Cash and Dan said this, and do we not have the clip? Cash and Dan said this, and it caused a massive firestorm across the internet because, well, just a lack of evidence. Seems to be the evidence points in the opposite direction. Here's the clip.
You said Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed himself. You want me to get, I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
So this started quite a conversation online and led to us saying, as we've said before, that we know Cash and Dan to be men of upstanding moral quality. They are good and decent men. How could they say with such certitude that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself, given all of the demonstrable evidence here? Going back through the schematics of the prison and so on. It led us to ask quite a few more questions. And now we're honored to bring on the man who actually built the prison, who knows it better than anyone, Rudy Giuliani, to answer hopefully some of these lingering questions. Joining us live now, America's Mayor, Rudy Giuliani. Rudy, welcome back to the program.
Oh, Ben, it's great to be back, Benny. I was just telling your people, you and your family, the pictures are great. I love the pictures of your family. I love it.
Well, we're
Beautiful
thankful. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wish we had more of a family-friendly topic to talk about. Happy to do that on any other show.
Yeah.
You made a lot of news by saying to Steve Bannon the other day, "Yo, listen, I don't believe any of this. I built that prison. I have major lingering questions." Now, it's the contention of Bungie and Cash that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. They haven't presented any new evidence to that effect. But given the fact that you know this prison better than any human being alive, the floor is yours. What's your take on these claims?
I have the same respect for both those men that you do. They're both personal friends, and they have more evidence than I have. So I'm going to say this with that caveat, okay? But I'll just tell you what's available to me, my own analysis of it. I just find it hard to believe. I find the set of circumstances, if you were to ask me, let's put them aside for a moment, their opinion. If you were to ask me just on the evidence that I have, nobody's actually put out all the evidence. And what I know of that prison, it's highly unlikely that somebody could commit suicide. It's a small prison to start with. It's not, the ones being used now is the Brooklyn Detention Center. That's probably 3 times the size. So therefore, it's an easier prison to guard people. And if you have a super important prisoner like that, and as far as I can tell, he was the only one in that category in there at the time. I know what happens when you put a prisoner like that there, because I put plenty in there, including occasionally terrorists. One of the reasons we were hit, I always believed on September 11th, is we had this major Al-Qaeda trial going on. And there was a real focus on New York by Al-Qaeda. And we had to take care of those terrorists in that place occasionally. And we'd have to do special arrangements for them. But if you wanted to watch them, you could have watched them 24 hours a day. It makes no sense that the cameras were out. The guard station would alert you to that. Well, think about it. You've been in facilities like that, I'm sure. There's a guy sitting there, and he's got a bunch of television cameras in front of him, right? Those television cameras show him all the key places in the facility. If the camera is out for 2 hours, I mean, the guy's got to be taking a long winter nap to miss it. And not to have substitute guards there for a guy that just came off suicide watch a day ago. Why did you take him off suicide watch? The circumstances hadn't changed. So, I mean, what do I, to be fair, what I have are questions that all lead to, which you would call circumstantial evidence that it was not a suicide. It's also a fairly low prison. I don't know exactly which cell he was in, but some of the cells there are, I assume he was in one that was fairly tall. But if he was in one of the shorter prisons, the actual act of hanging yourself would be really hard. You'd have to have some help. In general, hanging yourself is not that easy in a small confined space. So I could come up with maybe.
Holy crap. Is that Rudy Giuliani there talking about his own prison? Wow. Okay. All right.
3 or 4 others. I think it argues for, you got to put it all out. Maybe there are things you and I don't know that make it definitive that it was a suicide. I don't know. I don't know what those would be. So how can I just back off my opinion because 2 people I respect tell me that? At the same time, I'd be less than honest if I said those questions weren't answered. No one's explained to me why the cameras weren't working. No one's explained to me why that wasn't alert. Wasn't an alert of some kind in the guard room. Maybe the camera didn't function that way anymore. I don't know. I can't imagine that you wouldn't have a camera where the security guy is particularly for a key prisoner. How could you have him unguarded for a long period of time? Why did you switch him? There could be answers to all that, including like if they just tell us the cell he was in and the height of it. That would help. Let's say it's 12 feet high, 14 feet high. Well, okay. But let's assume it's only 10 feet high. That's pretty hard to do that. So that's where I am on it. And the whole situation with him seems like for about 12 years, 15 years, this guy had some kind of special situation going on, right? Even that original case in the Bush administration. That was in the Bush administration, remember, when they basically gave him a deal that let him off for what appeared to be serial pedophilia. That's a pretty serious crime, except in California. And so the questions are there. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. So at that time, Alex Acosta, who was the federal prosecutor there in the Southern District of Florida, said that he was told to back off because Epstein belonged to Intel. That's what he said before the Senate committee. It's on camera. And he had to then back off, and then he got a plea agreement and walked.
Right.
And
I don't know what implications there would. Let's assume for a moment that there's some kind of real serious national security issue that we're not aware of, and maybe shouldn't be. I don't know whether he committed suicide or not would matter all that much. Because they'd have to be looking for somebody who killed him. I think unless it was somebody we can't look for, I don't know.
Right. And that of course begs the question, Mr. Mayor, like who would have the ability to go into federal lockup and kill someone? Who has that power? Who has the power to turn off the cameras? So if your contention is the cameras were off, this is very shady, no one was going in and out, yet the cameras get turned off. Jeffrey Epstein is sharing a cell with a serial strangler, who's also a bodybuilder. He also happened to break multiple bones in his neck in this very successful suicide. And, you'd have to beg the question, the cui bono, right? Like, who has the power to turn off cameras in a federal prison facility?
The superintendent? I mean, the guy running the facility at the time, even the superintendent in charge, like the duty officer, I would imagine has the right to put them on, turn them off, and also alert people that have to be fixed. And how long does it take to fix a camera? I mean, they must have had an extra. There had to be a place in that facility that had a camera you could move there that was less important than that. That was the single most important prisoner they had, who, as I emphasized again, was on suicide watch. So those are the things that make you wonder. And then the apparent look. I have to believe, knowing the people involved, including the delay in putting out the things on Epstein, there's some very serious issues involved. These are, as you said, honest people. They have no. If this is wrong, this is a mistake. It's not a deliberate thing. But with regard to not putting the information out, there has to be a very serious national security issue that's going to have to be explained, or maybe this isn't the right period of time to do it, given what's going on in Ukraine, given what's going on in the Middle East. This can't be, some kind of a personal thing. This is a government thing. Just think of all the secrets we have, right? We keep them locked up for the Kennedy secrets were locked up forever, and who knows if we even have gotten the right information, if it wasn't changed already. So I think it just raises the question more, and there are a couple of answers that have to be given that, unless I'm missing something, I think you could give without giving away whatever the terrible thing is that they're trying to deal with.
It does beg the question. You've been a prosecutor. You've obviously prosecuted some of the highest profile cases in the history of federal prosecution, bringing down the mob in New York, a lot of legendary cases. It's important to get the information out to the public, right? Like that stops people from asking or going down the wrong path, right? It's actually incumbent for the government, and we can take it. We're all adults. We've all seen tough photographs from wars and the Ukrainian front lines or October 7th or whatever. Like, why not just be out with it, with all of the information and evidence? Put it all to rest.
It baffles me why not, because it does create a lack of confidence. When you have an open questions like this, and this isn't the only one, there are others, right, about the government. When you have open questions like this, that's the reason you end up with those percentages. So few people trust the government. So this all takes its toll. And when you need to summon that confidence, maybe it's not there. So yeah, these are important questions. They're not. This isn't some kind of frivolous case, or this is a case that's very, very important. This guy clearly had friends at the highest levels of government, not just our government, at the highest levels. So this is not voyeurism. This is national security.
So one final question about Epstein and the cross-section with New York, because he was living inside of a $53 million mansion on the Upper West Side. And this was a mansion that had the famous Bill Clinton painting in a blue dress sitting in the Oval Office. Did you know anything about that place?
I don't. It's a really strange thing. I didn't.
Can we have any evidence from there? We have photos, Mr. Mayor, of the FBI. The FBI released some photos that they probably regret doing that have boxes of it. He had boxes of hard drives that were wrapped in yellow evidence tape. And the FBI testified that they didn't put the tape there. We have boxes of them. CDs with that say nudes on them. The CDs say nudes, Mr. Mayor.
I don't know why I'm laughing. It isn't funny, but it is weird.
What the hell is this stuff?
I'm very glad to say I never saw the place.
Yeah.
All the time I was U.S. attorney, and all the time I was mayor, and all the time I was in New York City. I'm not sure. I don't think I ever met him. I have no recollection of meeting him or knowing about him. I think I heard the name a few times as a big Democratic. When you'd read about major Democratic fundraisers. When he got in trouble, I remember the name. Oh my God, there's another Democratic fundraiser that's a pervert. Maybe I have a little bit of a biased view of it, but you tend to look at those things. But yeah, that should have yielded a tremendous amount of evidence. What about the island? I mean, gosh almighty, the island, you could search the whole darn place. I can't imagine this guy'd operate for the period of time he did, and he left no evidence behind. Or, now this is a supposition, and it could be wrong, but he seemed to me the kind of guy that would be framing people, doing what the mafia used to do when they ran all the gay bars. People wondered, why would the mafia run gay bars on the west side of Manhattan? Because judges would go in there, and politicians would go in there, and important business people would go in there. Snap, they'd take a picture, and like you remember in The Godfather, when the senator got in trouble, they can walk in and they can fix things for you. We'll go see the judge. His wife's not going to like to see this picture. I'm sure this guy did that. I'm sure he had plenty of evidence on the people that could help protect him. So maybe I'm wrong. But if that's a logical assumption, right? And the way you investigate, Benny, is you take logical assumptions, and that's your circumstantial evidence, and then you go answer them. I always followed the rule: you start a murder investigation with the person with the biggest motive. The person with the biggest motive logically committed probably 70% of the murders. So I always wondered why Lyndon Johnson wasn't the major focus of a John F. Kennedy investigation. I can't think of anyone, including the mafia, was going to go on whether or not Kennedy was president or not. The Soviets, they had a motive to kill every American president. They didn't do it. Cuba maybe, but probably they'd have to have the help of the mafia. I don't know that Cuba could have penetrated. But then you got the guy with the most obvious motive. He wasn't going to be president. They were thinking of dropping him in favor of Governor Connolly, who was in the car with him. There's rumors of that. Robert Kennedy despised him. Robert Kennedy knew he was a massive crook. That he couldn't even believe that his brother took him on the ticket. The guy used to give out cash on the floor of the Senate. And Robert always appeared to me to be the more judgmental of the two in the right way. John Kennedy seemed to be more of the smooth politician. And Robert Kennedy reminded me as, you know, the kind of prosecutors used to work with me. He might have had different political ideas, but just from a prosecutorial point of view, he was terrific. And Johnson hated him. He hated Johnson. I mean, it was like blood feud. And I can't imagine, of course, I never got to talk to him about it, that being the investigator he was, that wasn't always on his mind. There's the guy. This guy never be sitting in that White House if my brother were alive. He either would have won or lost the presidency, and Johnson would have been gone, and they may have dropped him. They may have, they were thinking about it seriously. And Connolly was at that time, I believe, more popular in Texas than he was. So these are things that I think when you leave these questions, here's how it isn't just curiosity. It's people then begin to develop a certain percentage of people that don't trust the government. And they may not even think that until you go question them on these polls and say, do you trust the government? And they think, gee, they never really answered Kennedy. They're not answering this. And I don't mean this administration. I mean, every administration hasn't answered Kennedy. They've done more than anyone. I just think the evidence may be gone on Kennedy. If they were powerful enough to fix the Warren Commission, they're powerful enough to grab the key documents that can answer these things and get rid of them. I can't imagine they let them sit around in that file for, you know, half a century.
Do you believe that there is a preponderance of Epstein evidence that still exists? Do you think that we'll ever see anything, Mr. Mayor?
I think I think it still exists on Epstein, and I think I think we are going to see it, and I think they're struggling with it. I really do believe that. I think we are.
Why are they struggling?
Because I think it probably involves something that could have big implications on our national security, foreign policy, allies. It has to be something very, very, very sensitive. You know, the Kennedy thing, I think, is gone. I think we're just going to be one of those things where we're going to be discussing it 100 years from now. If we still have history as a course, well, certainly not in the Ivy League schools. They don't do history any longer. That's a subject that isn't taught.
So, and this is the final question on the subject, but given what you know about the prison that Jeffrey Epstein was held in, how would you kill someone in that?
How would I do it?
How would you do it? How is it possible?
I think the easiest way to do it is to make sure you're going to use something that doesn't show up in the blood. End up sedating him, and then hanging him. Accomplish the hanging yourself. Now that could be done with the help of one or two people. You can hang him easily. You can hang him any place with the help of one or two people. But there's even dispute by the outside medical examiner as to whether he was actually hung. I mean, I don't know the answer to that either. Maybe there's a definitive answer to that, but that question has been raised by an outside report. So there are more questions than there are answers, and it shouldn't be that way. There should be more answers than questions, and with the two of them saying that, I assume there are answers, but we're just not getting them.
Yeah, and your advice as a legendary prosecutor yourself.
My advice is to put that out. Put out the answers that lead them to the conclusion. The way I just laid out the questions, give us the answers you have to that. I don't think that's going to lead to, let's assume, some very important, critical person, or he was involved in some very critical mission to the United States. The fact that we raised a question, the issue that he was murdered, is not going to reveal that. It's going to create more of an impetus to find out about it, but it isn't necessarily going to give away that information right away. So I would love to see one of the two of them sit down and tell us how they came to that conclusion. And I think that would help.
Yes.
Help us out on one thing, and then possibly say the rest of it, you have to just leave it to our judgment to release at the right time.
Well, you can't have a functional country with so few people trusting the government. You actually want to have a functional country. You want to be able to trust federal law enforcement to do the right thing. And it can't happen if the vast majority of the American people believe that they're protecting the world's foremost pederast. It can't happen.
Yeah, it makes it harder. I think that this is the strange thing, and this is why it's so frustrating. He's done a lot of things, meaning the president, Cash, Bongino, and the whole team. They've done a lot of things to restore confidence in the government. I mean, they've taken on things that I didn't think they'd be able to take on this quickly. I mean, they've gone after the deep state about as strongly as you could go after them in the period of time they had available to them. So this is sort of an outlier. It's not helpful. And it's going to have to be answered at some point. I mean, we're not in the 1960s and 1970s when they let the Kennedy thing slide. This is just too important.
Right.
So I wish it was answered sooner rather than later.
I love that you brought up Kennedy. I love that you brought up Clinton, because it's, it just shows it's a people's history of cover-ups in recent history. I mean, if you can kill a president on camera, then,
it's almost a default position.
Yeah, that's right.
Now we're talking the last, I don't know, we could be going back to the Second World War, maybe equal number of Republican and Democrat administrations. So we're not talking about necessarily a part. If we're talking about crooked city governments, we're talking Democrat.
Yes. All right, well, this is a perfect segue to Letitia James.
It's about 150 years of that. We're talking about fooling around. I mean, messing around, doing things dishonest at the national level. We have our history of that too. So, and remember, Kennedy had to be covered up by both Republicans and Democrats. Nixon was in office for 6 of those years. He would have had every motive to put it out. And probably he's one of the people, given the fact he was president and also very tied into the government and the agencies, he's one of those people who probably knew the answer.
Well, he's on the tapes saying he knows who killed John.
Yeah.
We have the White House, we have the tapes, and then Richard Nixon had Watergate launched against him. 4 of the 5 people that broke into the Watergate were CIA agents. It's like,
it sounds like January 6th.
Yes.
Small version of January 6th. Practice.
So the hoaxes against President Trump are many. One of them was run out of New York. Letitia James is now in hot water herself. And you say that you're very proud of the speed at which the Trump administration is moving. Letitia James is obviously quite a big target. We call her Big Tish on this program. And it seems like she's in hot water quite bigly. What's your take on this, Mr. Mayor?
Well, my take on it is that they've created for some people an equivalency between what she did and what the administration is doing. What she did is in both she and Bragg, both cases, is create a crime that doesn't exist and produce false evidence to support it. I just remind you of the evaluation of Mar-a-Lago at $18 million. Every time I live in Palm Beach and I look at 40, 50, 60, $80 million 4-bedroom homes. This thing is worth, you pick the price. It's one of these priceless places. If I said $500 million, you jump at it. If I said $1 billion, I might be closer to it. The guy actually lied. I mean, he should create a value. I've never heard of a fraud case where nobody lost money. The definition of fraud is, putting people at disadvantage, hurting them. She's charged with saying that you live in, what was it, Virginia or Maryland, when you're the attorney general in New York. That's a pretty big lie on a loan application. Maybe there's no explanation for that. Saying that a building is smaller than it actually is, actually you cheat people out of the amount of money they're going to loan with their security and collateral. They actually get cheated. And there's plenty more. These are things that anybody be prosecuted for. And I remember she was the one that constantly said, nobody is above the law. Well, if we were to ignore the fact that she put herself in a marriage with her father in order to save money, cheat people out of money, who could justify that? The only problem is, does it get tried in New York? And our New York jury is just as bad the other way. I mean, they'll convict anything that smells Trump. If she puts up, Trump is coming after me, are they going to have a hard time? Now, it is a federal case, right? I think it's a federal case. And you tend to get a jury in a federal case because you're talking about a much bigger pool of people for a federal case. So we might get a fair trial there. But this has to be tried. I mean, it's ridiculous to fight the U.S. Attorney's Office. It's public. She's the Attorney General. She lied about her residence and her marital status in order to cheat people out of money. Pretty cut and dry.
You would predict prison time.
Oh, if she got convicted?
Yeah,
absolutely. Sure. I mean, she maybe not if she were just a regular person. This is where having public office probably disadvantages you. But the fact that she had public office and she's really lying to the people of the state that she's a resident about her residency, and she's putting people in jail aggressively, and here she is involved in fraud. Yeah, it sounds like a prison, at least some form of prison to deter other public officials from doing the same thing. I think if she was just a regular citizen messing around with a loan application and it was a first offense, I'm not sure I'd put her in jail.
So, interesting times, good things to come.
Fascinating. I think it's the most interesting times in the, I mean, I'm 80 years old, soon to be 81. And it's the most interesting, and I've been through, I mean, my recollection begins with the Korean War. I mean, I was born as the Second World War ended, but I was interested, my family was very interested in politics. So from the time I was a child, my mother and father were discussing communism and the danger of communism. And one was a Republican, the other was a Democrat. But my father was a Democrat who now would be a bigger Republican than my mother. He was an anti-communist Democrat, aggressively anti-communist. And he switched somewhere along the way, I don't remember, but now he'd be sitting there saying, how could I have belonged to that party? I don't know what's wrong with him. There's something seriously wrong at the highest level of that party because they do too many things that are irrational, like wanting dangerous criminals back among us, people who commit crimes like rape and murder and abuse of children. They want to bring them back. I mean, and they can't seem to pick their issues against Trump. I mean, Trump could really destroy them by kind of making up issues and then just suckering them into being against it. I go back to the wall. For years, they were all in favor of the wall. On record, there's video of Schumer and Pelosi, wall, wall, wall. Trump says wall, and now he's a racist, a xenophobe. They even know the pictures are going to show up. They have so little regard for the public, or they figure they can alibi their way out of anything because I think it all comes down to owning the press, Benny. I think you feel like when people evaluate Republican political advisors, say it's not fair. It's not fair. It's like having a basketball coach, and every time your team goes on the court, they only get 1 point for a basket, and the other team gets 2. Now you want to evaluate the two basketball coaches against each other. I'm running a campaign for a Republican. That's a major effort. I'm fighting off the New York Times and NBC and ABC. You're running it for a Democrat, and you can print anything you want. So that's got to change too. I think we're doing a good job with that. And when I say we, I mean you and me and Dan Bongino and everybody who does this. And you take a look at 2020 and 2024. The difference could be we had more of an independent media in 2024. There are people who tell me, who've done an analysis, that if we had the same percentage of independent media in 2024, it wouldn't have mattered that much that they were able to censor the Post and the hard drive, that it would have gotten out.
That's right.
Through the alternative media within 4 or 5 days. So we have some things that are very positive too.
It's true. I'm a glass half full kind of guy by nature, and silver linings, and we've always appreciated that optimism about you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you a lot. That you're one of the key figures in this group that sometimes I hate to mention it because I'm going to miss somebody. Sometimes I put out a list of, this is the media now. It's this group of 50 people. You know, they're going to tell you the truth. The rest, listen to them in order to know what to contradict.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know why, but for some reason the creepy painting of Bill Clinton is up on the screen.
Oh my God. I hadn't looked at it in a long time.
What would you ever hang that in your Palm Beach house, Mr. Mayor?
I don't think so. Or nor would I stay in a house that had one of those things in it for too long. I'd be scared.
What is the final question? What is this saying to Bill Clinton? Many have speculated this is Jeffrey Epstein saying, I own you, right? I have goods on you.
Here's another thing. I think he says he never was on the plane. And then there are supposed to be all kinds of records he was on it 27 times. Well, are there or aren't there? I mean, those records, I can't imagine were destroyed in the amount of time. We should be able to figure out who was on the plane.
Right.
And when he was on the plane, the Secret Service was with him. There should be government records of that.
Correct. Release them. Establish trust once again in federal law enforcement and release these records.
I mean, what is there some kind of national security? I mean, he's presumed innocent, but let's say he is guilty. Where's the national security issue there? We find out that Clinton was on that plane 27 times. It's a very damaging fact, but that isn't a fact that we should be classifying.
He's never had to answer any question. And to your point of a media cover-up, Bill Clinton has never he's never been asked a question about this on the record by any reporter, sat for thousands of interviews and never had to answer a question.
And the government? Not that I know of.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right.
He has to be on your list, doesn't he?
He should be on a list of people who are brought in for questioning.
If we were doing a Sherlock Holmes investigation of this, he'd be on the list.
Right.
Or if those old movies, they'd all be in the room.
Of who would benefit.
The eight people, Charlie Chan, the Charlie Chan movie, they'd all be in the room. Agatha Christie, they'd all be in the room.
Who would benefit to Epstein's death? Definitely.
Yeah. Who would benefit the most from this guy?
Right. Yeah. Well,
interesting.
Big questions, and it's our obligation to continue to create friction and to make sure that there's pressure from the outside to release these items. Be good for the country. Be good for the country to have them released. Everybody needs to go over and assist in this process. You can do that by following Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor, on X. He has nearly 2 million followers on X. It's absolutely no introduction or help from us, but
no, it does.
Rudy Giuliani.
We run it 7 and 8 every night.
The only, that's right. Please tune in for his show right there on X. And the only guest that we've ever had on the program who also starred in Seinfeld. So we thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Benny. You do a great job. And God bless you and God bless your family.
Go fight that non-fat yogurt. We'll never forget.
You know, I have a coffee that I sell. I should sell a non-fat yogurt.
We're big Seinfeld fans. All the producers are massive Seinfeld fans. It's just a classic, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Godspeed. Very interesting times indeed. Sometimes it's nice to just sort of sit back and let men, especially older men who have a lot of wisdom, talk and explain things. Learn a lot actually by just sitting back and listening. I'm trying on a personal note. I'm trying to like tighten up my questions here, to like just get my questions out so that it like leads the wise and intelligent people on our program and to tell us everything that they know. And if you're the man who built the prison, Rudy Giuliani, well, you'd know more than virtually anyone about how you'd kill someone there. So, ladies and gentlemen, the great Rudy Giuliani. Now, would you buy a painting of Bill Clinton in a dress sitting there in a chair in the Oval Office, and you know what that blue dress was, right? Yikes. I doubt you would buy that. We would never put that up for sale. But we did try and create something that I guess you could hang in your house. Unlike Jeffrey Epstein, Christmas ornaments in your house are hung. And Christmas ornament that we made this last year, we were able to move 50,000 of them. Couldn't believe it. The only way we were able to accomplish this was Shopify. Shopify assisted in the structural back end of such a massive order. And this was the Christmas ornament. It was really popular. We couldn't believe it. And we just sold the electoral map. It was $5. But boy, did the orders ever come in. We made like pennies of profit per piece. The point was to get as many of them out and out the door as possible. The point wasn't really to make money. It was to like decorate everyone's trees with this glorious Christmas ornament. Ladies and gentlemen, again, the only way that we have the structure to deliver on that is Shopify. Shopify is the most powerful and largest e-commerce platform in all of America. It's behind millions of businesses around the world, 10% of all e-commerce in the United States, actually, from household name brands to people who are just getting started as Christmas ornaments. They can help you design a website. They can help you code. They can help you market. And they can help you when you get stuck with 24/7 customer support. Shopify, ladies and gentlemen. Turn your business dreams into reality. Ladies and gentlemen, you should give them a shot. We did.
time has come. The time has come today. The time has come. The time has come. The time has come today. And so all the good people want to rescue from all the smart people want to talk to you. And all the clever people want to tell you. All the letters people want to dance. It's true. Block out the sun over me, over me, and spoil all the fun. Won't you block out the sun over me, over me, and spoil all the fun. Won't you please, anyone, talk to me, talk to me. Are you boys lonely and drunk on your knees? You say that you hate it, but that's how you made it, just to keep it OB. We're both high on lemon silks. We're all sucked in by politics. All the people deceive you, the kids never leave cause you make them at home. You try to appease them and they show you a stick, but still you pick up the phone. But hey man, you can take it as long as they don't shove you out in the cold. It's not getting better, no, it's not getting better, man. It's just getting old. And now we do what we're programmed to do. Hey, we do what we're told. All we do. I never remember to carry my book when I get on the bus. You never forget when it's your time to pay up when they are making our fuss. We're both high on lemon silks. We're all high on wiggling hips. Now you break up your plans for the weekend. Now you can tell them the pace, but that don't mean they're letting you go. Oh, they give you the pizza, you come for the weekend, then you stay for the year. Avoid all your plans, cause they're making our day jobs into a steady career. We're both high on lemon silks. We all climb onto sinking ships now. Avoid all the cold sideways glances now. Celebrate, and then turn to stone. Read all the pamphlets and watch the tape. Read all the pamphlets and watch the tape. Read all the pamphlets and watch the tape. You turn 25, now you're out of a escape. Go! Hey, the rock runner told me to tell you. Though you're brave and you're brave, you're still blacked out, which makes you a star. Read all the pamphlets and watch the tape. 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 Read all the pamphlets. Read all the pamphlets. Read all the pamphlets. We all get a little drunk and they'll act like this.
Sound of silver, talk to me, makes you want to feel like a teenager until you remember the feelings of a real live emotional teenager. Then you think again. Sound of silver, talk to me, makes you want to feel like a teenager until you remember the feelings of a real live emotional teenager. Then you think again. Sound of silver, talk to me, makes you want to feel like a teenager until you remember the feelings of a real live emotional teenager. Then you think again. Sound of silver, talk to me, makes you want to feel like a teenager until you remember the feelings of a real life emotional teenager. Then you think again. Sound of silver, talk to me, makes you want to feel like a teenager until you remember the feelings of a real life emotional teenager. Then you think again. New York, I love you, but you're bringing me down. New York, I love you, but you're bringing me down. Like a rat in a cage, pulling minimum wage. New York, I love you, but you're bringing me down. New York, you're safer, and you're wasting my time. Our records all show you were filthy but fine. But they shuttered your stores when you opened the doors to the cops who were bored once they'd run out of crime. New York, you're perfect, oh please don't change a thing. Your mild billionaire mayor's now convinced he's a king. And so the boring collect, I mean all disrespect. In the neighborhood bars I'd once dreamt I would drink. New York, I love you, but you're freaking me out. There's a ton of the twist, but we're fresh out of shout. Like a death in the hall that you hear through your wall. New York, I love you, but you're freaking me out. New York, I love you, but you're bringing me down. New York, I love you, but you're bringing me down. Like a death of the heart. Jesus, where do I start? But you're still the one pool where I'd happily drown. And oh, take me off your mailing list for kids who think it still exists. Yes, for those who think it still exists. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong, and just maybe you're right. And maybe mother told you true, and there'll always be somebody there for you, and you'll never be alone. But maybe she's wrong, maybe I'm right, and just maybe she's wrong.
she's wrong, and maybe I'm right, and this song is there. It's a
This is the fucking catcher doing that, guys. You know, you gotta think that too. A catcher with that kind of a shitty attitude about domestic violence is just weird, man. And as far as calling in, man, hey, a wise man said yesterday, Tommy didn't call the cops when he broke his wife's wrist. Isn't that weird? Tommy didn't call the cops. Should have fucking had enough common sense to call the cops, but he was bound and determined to go to the ball game with the boys. Because, you know, that's definitely more important than breaking your wife's wrist, right?
Well, didn't we listen to a different version of that story just the other day? Played here on this channel. Isn't that amazing? That's pretty amazing, I think. Totally different version from what Tommy said. But he's got a lot of I believes and I guess is going on.
I mean, at that point, the kids were fucking traumatized beyond belief, and then they got chucked in the fucking car, or one of them, I don't know if it was one or both, but it chucked in the fucking car and made to go down to the ball field. You know what I mean? It's just weird. That is just a weird situation right there, guys. So when are you guys going to take him to task, don't you? Bet you won't. Did Becky with a 3 go live last night? I know she had a live scheduled, but I didn't know if Bad Guys Live encroached on hers. Which, I mean, obviously people are going to go watch Bad Guy, right? They're not going to watch her. She's got the personality of a fucking bowl of Elmer's glue. So, you know, nobody's going to go check that out. Except for the cronies, you know what I mean? The usual suspects are going to go in there, of course. But she ain't going to pull no, just a cross section. She ain't got the fucking personality for it. She just don't. And, you know, she tries to be so witty and smart ass. You don't got it like that, girl. Sorry. Some people do and some people don't. You don't. You know, she entitled her live something about beating the dead horse because that's what I had said they were doing. Because, I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong, guys? I mean, is Ed Stairs not a fucking dead horse at this point? The only people that really fucking care about him are them. They keep his fucking memory alive here, not us. They have the fucking person that tried to exonerate him, for God's sakes.
Wow, what a way to twist that all the way around. First of all, your buddy Ed is worth keeping on blast because of the egregious crimes that he got away with. There's going to be a lot of people that want justice over that. But it sounds like you guys on your side have to try to sweep some things under the rug, especially maybe for an attorney general running for Congress or Senate or something, right? It was connected to Ed. His wife even said there's something weird going on with the attorney general. Anyways, wow, amazing. Sweep Ed up under the rug. You guys are trying to keep him alive as, well, you guys keep even dead pedos like Port Earth Farmer alive. It's amazing. Port Earth Farmer wants to have Thanksgiving dinner with the dead pedo from Canada. Just saying, I've got that clip.
I mean, how you gonna fucking complain about Ed when you literally got the woman that was doing her best to fucking prove that the charges were bunk? We all remember.
I think people from that side were hoping the charges were bunk, so there's no victims. But Dorkbot will leave that part out.
We all remember she did that for days. She was trying that shit for days, guys.
For days.
I mean, meanwhile, we all did exactly what we said we were going to do and turned away from her. And then here she is trying to prove the fucking shit was bunk.
Turned away from him, right.
And no, there's like a bunch of inconsistencies and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, huh? Ain't no fucking inconsistencies in what I read, but my God.
I don't know about that fire story you tried to put out. We're yelling fire in a theater. There's some inconsistencies there, man, baby bot.
Shit was nasty as fuck, though. Not anything inconsistent, though. It was very consistently disgusting. That's what it was. Wasn't nothing inconsistent about that. I can tell you that right
Again,
now.
really inconsistent about a story of me giving, thousands of dollars to someone that didn't clearly happen, amazingly enough, again. And his buddy Vic also trying to peddle that gay LARP story to Urban Disciple. Isn't that amazing? We'll go over that here in a little bit.
So yeah, her trying that, is just so weird to me because, they're such good palsy-wowsies now, you know what I mean? And, here again, I'm gonna bring it up because it is odd as fuck, man. I'm sorry, not sorry. She still has her fucking anti-Savvy videos up.
Maybe Savvy doesn't care.
Crazy, but if you're fucking friends with somebody, you'd take that down immediately, in my opinion.
Right.
Why would you leave something like that up? Exactly. I don't know.
To tell a bigger
I
story
guess
there,
because she's monetized and she thinks people are gonna, click on that.
There's more of a story to tell there. You guys are trying to sweep up under the rug.
I don't know, man. That's just weird. That's just fucking weird, man.
Fucking weird, dude.
They would fucking damn near pass out if they got those two words removed from their vocabulary. Ed Stairs.
Right.
Like, yeah, they would be like grasping at straws. Like I was
You need that swept up under the rug. What happened there?
Today to find the word extradited. I could not fucking think of that word to save my life. I was like,
oh my God, what a boring freaking quack bot, man. Let's go over to this. Oh, we've got. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that guy is really flippin' boring, man. But just don't be that guy. You don't want to be that guy.
I don't know if you're aware of this, Gutter, but there actually was music recorded before 1989. What is this? You're going to wear this to the show. You're going to wear the shirt of the band you're going to go see. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. He is that guy, though. He's such a sellout, wannabe fucking 80s failed radio DJ. That he is going to be the
So this is the sewer
guy
where
wearing
you
the shirt.
persons breed your ant.
He's going to be the guy wearing the shirt of the band he's going to see out there moshing the hardest. Dorkbot. And then
So
the
this is the
principal
sewer
walks
where
in.
you persons breed your anti-community crimes.
Hello, Mrs. President Garcia Thompson.
Hey, monkeys, how about a little respect? The presiding person of the university just walked in.
Stop that. Turn that noise pollution down. Please put out that cigarette right now. Do I need to remind you that this house already has enough complaints to qualify for a sensitivity awareness weekend?
Oh, my goodness.
You passed out cigarettes for a smoke-a-thon on Earth Day.
Oh,
You
horrible.
installed speed bumps on the handicapped ramps. And most recently, you dumped 100 pounds of meat on a peaceful vegan protest.
Oh, come on. That was way more than 100 pounds.
He said, "You're not people." Interesting. In the ass, or did he fuck you in the ass? Or did you make that shit up? And I have a follow-up question after this.
I hope some of those questions, Urban, are, about the map accusations and how that worked out and why he's doing this gay LARP, Mr. Vic. Amazingly enough, having to do that after he gets busted out. Money in jail. Yeah, well, you know what, Frogger? I don't know if you caught that, but Spamula sure had some things to say about Mr. Cox and those jailhouse calls. Oh, Mr. Cox was trolling us last night. And Predator's like, wait till I get out of here. I'm going to get him. And it's recorded in jail. Does that sound like maybe some conspiratorial type shit? Just because, oh my God, people are making videos and participating in live streams on a video production platform. Oh my God, everybody. Yeah, and it's being recorded in jailhouse calls. Dumbass.
If you don't mind answering this, because this is like a thing that's been going around. Yeah, me and Aaron V. Cox had sex. I want to, from the horse's mouth. Yes, I was on top. You see that? You see that, detective, right there? And you'll watch this later.
He's tripling down.
We can't discredit Vic, Torious bastard. Now, you were on top in what type of way? Like, now, did this happen on a couch, on
Wow.
a bed?
Jilly, you like to talk some shit over in Urbans, but you don't really talk it here. You try to. Huh. And then Glazin Dean right there, you guys' handler. Glazin hanging out with somebody where, he's got some real good bestiality fantasy. And that started up why Glazin Dean actually had some videos made on her about horsey play. And all of a sudden, your little handler, Glazin Dean there, guess what she's doing? She calling the cops and filing charges and getting restraining orders because somebody made a video back. That's who you're hanging out with there, Jilly and NTF. But hey, you want to go laugh it up over again. Bestiality fantasy, desecrating, kind of a sacred animal on Native American land with your bestiality fantasy bullshit, gay LARP. You guys, and want to talk shit in other rooms, perfect. But you can't do it here. Loving it. Love it. With your gay LARP and Vic. In your doxing fest, because guess what? You guys are losing that bad. Doxing shows that you guys suck and are fucking idiots.
A kitchen counter, or the bathroom sink, or the tub, or the shower. I don't know. Gomez is a switch. He bottoms for the for most, but he tops Mitchell May. I don't know anything about that. Hot tub first.
Oh yeah, now Glazentine with her throwing in what wasn't even originally part of Vic's Gaylord with some Vaseline, but hey, you guys take it. Oh yeah, there's a docs account and Nunya. You guys are just showing how desperate you are, and I thank Urban Disciple for giving you guys the space to show who you really are.
Very interesting. So, in this hot tub sex episode,
still nothing from the Urban Disciple of why Vic is being accused of being a minor attracted person, and especially interested in that one catch he did with Shay, where all of a sudden it looked like he was grooming a minor. Yeah, really interesting. His catch.
was there KY jelly in the water? Or was the water a little greasy? Or you've never seen your feet? Damn. If you look down, I'm guaranteeing you, just like tilt your head down a little bit, you'll see them. He's so hairy, I had to put him in pantyhose.
Wow.
So he was down with this?
No, there was none of that shit happening. Guys running around in pantyhose. You guys are falling for a sick motherfucker's fantasy and having to perpetuate it, but loving it. Even Spamgela G up in there, loving it. And Blazing Scar all mucking it up with Spamgela G. Amazing. And also hanging around with the same people that are trying to sweep the Predward Stairs story up onto the table when there's people out there trying to get justice for him for what, well, needs to be arrested and serve serious time for what they found. But hey, letting them off might look an attorney general look bad, so that's why it needs to be swept up under the rug. And amazingly enough, Glazentine just loves to hang out with those people, and she's been so against it for so long. Same with what she was doing with Lee Pleatherman.
We got Detective in. And so Detective is not doing any online stalking. He's just putting stockings on. That's what you're telling me?
That's funny, actually.
Victorious Bastard. I have listened to Aaron's side of this, and I'm just getting your side of it. I've heard this before.
Well, it's interesting. Whenever he hears my side, it's always he leaves some important details out and says that I might have not mentioned something when I actually did. Interestingly enough.
And I'm just wondering, since you've come in a couple times already, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll ask this dude because I never got a chance to ask him. So what is the purpose of airing out the dirty laundry, though? I'll ask that question. No fan of ABC, but these stories. Well, I mean, patience. Gomez had to wear pantyhose because hair makes me itch. Well, I have to say it right off the bat. I can't even play games. This kind of sound like talking points a little bit. You know what I mean? The pantyhose, the too hairy. I'm just asking if that happened. And well, because I was under the assumption that it didn't happen. I was going to ask you, well, why would you make up such a story like that? But no, let's just make believe. Let's play make believe that I do believe what you're saying to a certain degree. Why would you air out the dirty laundry that you had sex with him? Did you ever come out as a gay dude before? And why would you use a detective to come out as a gay dude? Wouldn't you want it to be like a special occasion? It sounded like you guys were fighting too much. Anyways, I'll wait for responses. Sorry.
Glazen's in there because I posted a picture of poop that actually landed on a stick from a dog. And she's on rinse and repeat. I already said 1000% organic on that picture, but she's trying to peddle. Why is Aaron playing with his shit, putting it on a stick? Why are you so concerned? Are you trying to deflect from all those DV charges you got a long time ago that really didn't serve any time for there, Glazen Dean, right? I give you something again. I give you a little piece of breadcrumb to fucking flip out over and deflect from your own shit. That's why I put it out 1000% organic shit.
I don't know. That is a pinnable offense right there. I don't know why he would. What's going on, Letty? I don't know why he would save your butt crack pictures. That's kind of. Well, I tried to ask him, and I'm trying to learn to not trust people, but at least kind of believe what they're saying and let's start writing them off. He didn't really have an answer for it, so I was kind of giving him answers that maybe possibly it could have been for this reason. I had said, well, did you want to use it for retaliation if you ever screwed up or something, or to make fun of them about it or something like that? Because you wouldn't wear a belt. And yeah. Never really did answer that question on why he did it. Gotta go get more coffee for this one. It might be about an hour long. Who knows? Because it's only it's 27 minutes in, and I got a few questions, and he's answering them, and I can't. I'm very grateful for the answers, and I'm not gonna take advantage of that, or yeah, I'm just gonna take advantage of that. He tried to play you. In what way did he try to play you? I know it's like type in and responses. I'll be patient because I still have other things to talk about while we're waiting for Scott, which you did do this interview with. He had a lot of questions for you there. I do have a lot of the answers. I'm kind of like a detective at this point. I have the answers. I'm just listening to your side. And we're looking for consistency. And that's easy to say, and that's good to say. Because I'm looking for consistency.
Urban consistency would be grilling him about why he's being accused of being a minor attracted person.
See, and I pick out a lie, then we know to not trust you. But your story checks out as you told it. You know, I'm just wondering why someone would air out the dirty laundry if they never came out as a homosexual to now all of a sudden from a troll. Well, I can't say troll job, from a meeting from YouTube. That's like me, like just like trash. You know, I just don't get it. Having a three-way with the big lady at Dollar Store, he was banned. Well, I heard something about that. Something about that. Look, he was a good, what is a good catcher? Like a predator catcher? What are we talking about? I'm just curious on why you would want to tell that story online. It's just weird. Were you mad at him? Did you, okay, I'm going to say this. I believe that you had a crush on Mr. Detective Gomez. I believe you went out there with like dreams of probably sucking his penis and like, you know, ramming him in the booty and possibly being his like roommate lover and stuff like that. And you went out there.
Again, if there would have been any gay shit going on, it would have been like put him back on the bus. Get him the fuck out of here. Because yeah, it's wow, and other men. Jilly's trying to say in there, seems like he likes fat women and older men. Jilly, I've already tried to tell you that my girlfriend is quite fit. So what are you trying to fucking talk about? And older men? Wow, Jilly. Well, at least Jilly can come out and admit she's a, you know, dumpster diving and putts from the rough.
You were going to work on a car and stuff. That's why I was under the impression you were a scorned lover. So you went and told a steamy, hot butt sex tale. Butt sex tale. Butt tail is the same thing. So. Okay, you all gotta be done. That was the highlight from 2024. All about the Victorious Bastard and Aaron thing. You just have to look at it objectively. It's just got agenda written all over it. People are already throwing this accusation at him being a homosexual already. So to risk all of this for a YouTuber that he knows maybe in the back of his mind.
Glazing Scars putting in there, I don't know what, because, well, see, Vic has me blocked. I can't see what he's typing in there. And I was going to try to set this up to where I could see what he was typing. But Glazing Scars putting in there, Aaron was abusive to her. I don't know what she's talking about or what Vic might be talking about. What about people trying to be abusive to me and like harass me through text messaging, you know, voicemail, shit like that, email? That's okay though, right? So when I maybe sling some back, oh, victim, just like Felaman, oh, you stalked me, shizzle. Victim, right? Go on the news like Glazing Dean, cry, victim. And look where she's at now, right? With her disinformation bullshit with Vic, teamed up with Vic, where they're all teamed up with Dorkbot that's trying to shove everything up under the carpet about Predward. But she's been loud about Predward, right? Oh, but that's yesterday's news. It doesn't matter that there was no justice there. That's okay. Just leave that one be, right? Uh-huh.
He will snitch and tell the world. He's willing to take that risk. Did he say that he didn't want it out there or something? No wonder ETS is all up over here. Why? You got a problem with that? You got a problem with my new person, NTF, coming to support your boy? She come and leaving comments. I don't see you leaving any comments. Except now, for NTF stuff.
But the dirty doc socks, see, Angela's in there. Here come the dirty socks. Oh, but what about that dirty doc sock in there that Vic's using of Angel Epley? Not that I'm trying to redox. It's just that's I mean, to make the most impact, you got to have some people that are willing to actually, you know, put out the way it comes out. And anyways, yeah, using the Angel Epley account there, and it's pretty stupid shit. But hey, that's all right, you guys. You just keep on doing what you're doing because you guys are the ones that are calling the cops.
Here
Shit
comes
bags.
the dirty socks. Oh yeah, filthy. You know, if you wear, Angela, hold on. If you wear dirty socks, when you get gangrene.
Well, all these MFers already got that gangrene.
Go gadget toes. I don't know what's going on here. Yes, you can get, okay, that's what I thought. Sometimes it's great to unveil, take off those dirty socks and show the true you, the true essence. Those are not understanding. We're talking about accounts, sock accounts. Is sock an acronym? Stupid old cunt account. That's a stupid old cunt. Yeah, that's right. Yes. I would leave my wife for you.
Well, you know, Frogger, When Edward's crew infiltrated the pred catchers, I knew immediately once I heard his name pop up, I'm like, son of a bitch, his crew infiltrated Alex and the pred catchers. I was like, they're finally going to get their asses handed to them, because they're going to be up against serious MFers that, I mean, there are some there for vigilante justice that are part of that pred catchers community. And there's some people there that are trying to be the oversight, because the police departments are overwhelmed with this stuff. The jails are overwhelmed. But wouldn't it be great, though, if Alcatraz was opened up as Pedo Island? Pedo Death Row Island. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, this guy's saying in here he lost his voice at 12 from the abuse, and they think it's funny. Yeah. Yeah, and getting people like Frogger coming after you, man. Yeah, it's pretty stupid. Yeah, their little gang going on. I should almost well, I'll go through it after this is done. I'll go through, see if I can re-go through it and see what Vic was typing there, because he had to block me to be able to, run his bullshit. So isn't that such a puss bag move? It's a serious puss bag move. Yeah, the fact that the puppy mill is weaponizing an alleged map is not surprising, let alone all the other sickos that network weaponizes. Yep. It's some crazy shit. And I mean, I'll tell you, the most effective is making fucking tracks back on them. But also documenting their bullshit as much as you can, because oh, and Glazin Dean is in there also saying, I know Aaron all too well. Sadly, most here do. Yeah, is that why she had to lie and say she came to my house and met my girlfriend and met my dog even? Met my dog. Huh? She must know me all too well, my day in, day out, what type of TP I use, what brand. Whether I'm boxers or briefs, right? She definitely peddles the boxers and briefs when her boy up on the internet in his boxers and briefs, all big, bad, and buff, right? Then screams, oh, people are doxing my son. You're the one that put him up on the internet. Or that picture came from somewhere. You gave it to somebody. Didn't just poof, right? Somebody stood in front of him and then put it up on the internet. You were peddling it around to somebody. Picture your son, adult son. So she go, oh, they're doxing my son, my kid. That's some crazy shit.
Oh. No thanks. No thanks, bro. Hey, hold on. You even know who I am? All right, hold on. Got to be proper. And it's only because of this freaking bars. I had the song lined up and everything. Yeah, do me a little son. I'm running out of weed. I'm too lazy to order a delivery. Isn't that just sad? My life is just going to I think my soul is being snatched from my very eyes from my employer. Damn it. The moment when you're too lazy to order a delivery, it's really bad. Hey, but at least I got enough energy to run my mouth for a little bit. Scott, we will be waiting for your hot, juicy audio bits of Urban Disciple sexualizing a minor. I just want the minor details, but just the little bits, pieces. Speaking of little bits and pieces, if you guys are into what I'm into, I know a lot of you are. Nah, it just looks too bad. I ain't gonna even attempt it. Fuck that shit. Look at that. Two. I don't know if I go out of this 10 and I hit the airwaves, the real stuff, and the grass, that thing will bump up to all the way up. I should start doing my performances back in the yard again, how I used to back in the day. Yeah. There will become a time where I'm just gonna be anonymous, have a channel. You don't even know it's me. If I'll leave my wife now for you. Turn back on your camera, please. No, thank you. This person's getting crazy. Get demonic up in here. Go crazy up. Stay pressed. Yes. Crazy poor black man. Who's this guy? He was kind of like me. A little bit. Don't he play some score? Lady, don't he look kind of like me? Yeah, he does. It's just like your boy. So it looks like the time is winding down, Scott. You don't have much time. I should just flat. Yeah, he does. He looks just like me. Just imagine if I was fatter and shit like that. Yeah, look at that hair. It looks just like, oh yeah. Okay, my soul feels like it's cracked into pieces. Jennifer Landslide and who are you? Nice for you to show up, I guess. You are much better looking, UD. It's probably because I'm thinner, that's all. If I was fat, I would be looking just like that, dude. No, he hold on. Maybe I'm just like tripping. Oh, let's see. Well, for one, let's see if these bars work. Damn, look how low that is. I'm surprised their stream isn't jumping all up and down and robot, and it probably is. But when that happens, I get so irritated. Like, why did I subject these people to that shit? They gotta listen to this crap. That's some bullshit. NTF is doxing. Well, everybody knows my little name here. I don't really care. Thanks to Blazing saying it all the time. What the fuck? Kind of weird. Yeah, I know there's not much difference between the urban disciple and who I really am. Not really. My language is probably more colorful here, but that's about it. Not even really. It's just like if I feel in the mood to do my little ranting, cussing rants, I'll do it. It's funny. It's more for comedic things, and I want to see how funny I can say the words. But other than that, that'd be kind of like close friend or a cool little buddy. You know what I mean? This was like from back in the day. I used to put the phone right here and just veg out, man. Hold on, let me clean this up. So you can figure out if you want to marry me or not. You want to leave your wife for me? What the fuck? What do you think about this, guys? Hold on. I think you might want to second guess things, bro. That's all. Second guess them. Wait. Let's clean this off. I will be working on some videos. I got some, not just like puppy mill shit. I got some better stuff in the workings. Coming soon to a channel near you. These, I have to give it to Shizzle, and I understand why he gets this crap. I call it crap because I don't really know what it's doing. This is the reason I don't get as much weed anymore, because I think I'll just bust out the pen. It's a different kind of cough. It feels like if I inhale and you just don't stop, and just fall out. Like a weed. It's a different kind of cough. Ugh. In your mirrors, that is. I don't know what to say about it. But I do know what to say about this Scott. It's your boy, your favorite guy. Can you believe that this Scott guy, he goes like, Urban Disciple is a twig, and so does this mass one. They talk like that. It's because I stay covered up. I know I look like a little. I'll try to work out more this year for you guys, for both of you. You are right. I am getting a little fat gut, though. I got to start working out. So I'll be ready for you, big baby. I'll tell you what we are ready for, big baby, is that baby evidence. Show us what you got, bro. Oh, this is getting nasty. So, I don't even know what you guys are talking about in here. Don't show your meat on YouTube if you don't like it. Yeah, well, we'll go find someone who's gonna like it then. I don't know what to tell you. While we're waiting for Scott, let's he said he wants to fight me. You guys believe that shit? I was thinking I can get it, like, I don't know. Sometimes I'll just give him some jabbies. Yeah. Scott. Ah. Scotty Karate. Let's get in the dojo. Wait, hold on. Come on, kids. You need those first, right? Come on, kids. Come on over. Wait, no. Don't come over here. Come on, Scott, where you at? I want to see him typing in here. Let's go. Let's go show that evidence, dude. Let's see it. Come on, Scott. You're better than this. Thought you were good. I'm in a gang. Is that okay? Hell no. That's a deal breaker. You can't be in a fruity gang. Gangs are for fags. And that's the bottom line. Because gangs are for fags. And that kind of rhymed. All right. Enough show and tell. I'm going to watch some UD practice. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Very good. Now, let's check it out. And now, it's time. Scott, you're going to waste all of our time? I thought you had that evidence, dude. Little fucking liar. You're a liar. Oh, did you see that? The spirits are. She went from back to the N-word to getting wet for one. You guys, all you do is make stuff sexual, like weird perverts. You know, there's a time and a place for that, and the time and the place ain't right now. Your boy is streaming right now. He's waiting for Scott is evidence. Can't wait. Yes. But while we wait, man, we are running low. I'm probably gonna have to get it. That means I have to be up for another hour or two, wait for this crap. I don't think I got the patience for that. I'm just gonna go real light right now. But after this, you know what time it is, Scott. Better get that shit ready. We ain't playing with you. You seen the vote. You lost, and you're losing because you're a loser. Yeah. I'm really waiting for you, man. I'm wanting to see what you got. I'm intrigued. I want to see what kind of mind you had. I mean, it didn't take much for Kevin to start conjuring up things out of keywords like little girl, dildo, and ass crack or whatever. I mean, you can arrange those in a sick way if you're a sick-minded individual. Yeah. You know what? You've been doing a lot of talking. I want to see what this channel is all about. This channel is called Spun. I don't even know what it's saying. Let's check you out. Check you out. It's got 1 subscriber. And I take one look at him and I say, he's not lying. Fuck. No, bro, you stay with your wife. I'm not worth it. That definitely not. So, but let's see what someone else has got going on. Yeah. I am new. My wife won't. Okay, that's enough. Just please. I don't. You got to make it work till death do us part. So who's about to die? Because it has to be her if you want to get with this guy. Got to kill her. Until you do that, you can't have it. No, don't even start to take these words and do some freaked up shit. Dude, I beg. Please. All right, we'll get this one more time. We'll get out of here. We don't want to entice him too much over a face on YouTube. So here we go. I'm not a marriage counselor. Yeah, I'm not marriage. I don't know, man. Junie, Lynn, you're out and you barely even came in. All right then. I see how you are, Junie. Don't even want to stay for your boy. Your favorite boy. I'm your unfavorite boy now. So you can't win them all. That's okay. Oh, you been here? Well, I haven't been able to see your comments. My bad. My bad. Anyways, you have yourself a very, very good day.